Welcome to Kikiriki Talks.
Bonjour.
Kamarjoba.
Kikiriki Talks. Let's kiki about Kikiriki.
Welcome to Kikiriki Talks.
Episode 3.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Caroline.
Today we're gonna continue the serious subject of education and we're gonna talk about student life. So Caroline, how was it like for you to be a student?
Yeah, I've been a student for 6 years.
Well, I was student for only 4 years because I only managed to do the bachelor's for now, and it was really different from school. I didn't have to move to other city because I entered university in my own city, but much of my friends, they either moved to Tbilisi or also some of them live quite near in the nearby cities, so they would usually just come to university every day and live in their own cities. So
you were still living with your parents the whole time?
Yes.
Yeah, I was living with my parents for my first year after high school because I went to a small institute, like for more technical stuff than the regular college, and it was in the suburbs, so it would have no point for me to move out of my parents' house. And the second year I started my bachelor in Paris. My parents live in the suburbs 1 hour away in public transportation from Paris, and I still lived with my parents for the first year, and then I moved, who was very, very close to my college in the middle of Paris, and it changed a lot of things. I was really happy. I was really enjoying the student life. To me, student life is really when you live alone.
Well, even though I lived in the same city where my university was, I still had to take like 40 or 50 minutes to get to my university. I can say that it was close to me. It was a journey every day because I had to go uphill for 15 minutes every day, which for me is a lot.
It's a workout.
Yeah.
My apartment was 3 stations away from my college, so I was literally 15 minutes away. It was really nice to be super close to it, and also I was living in a really great neighborhood. Many bars and many nightlife is happening. I had a lot of my friends coming to my tiny place. Like, I need to explain the size of my apartment because I was really having the student life under the roof, literally living in my bed. My apartment was not even 10 meters square. The toilets were in the common hallway. Like, now I don't think I could still live there, but when you're young and just enjoying your life,
when you
it's
only
okay.
Go home to like sleep.
Yeah, literally.
That's enough.
I would just go back smashed and just need somewhere to crash.
Tell us more.
Well, I don't remember actually. No, but I had my few bars where I was a regular, and you really have like your habits where like the waiters know you, the owner know you. Like for my last birthday before coming here, the bar where I've been way too many times since like the last 6 years, it's also a restaurant, and so I went there for my birthday, and they gave me a special cake like on the house, and my drinks were covered, and it was really cute. So
that's nice.
Even though Paris is like a huge city, you can have like your neighborhood life and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never had that kind of experience of being like super close with people from the bars, but still you always see familiar faces every time you go, and you kind of know them and they know you, but it's not like that, unfortunately. For my personal experience, how was it? How different was university and student life for you from school?
From high school?
Yeah.
Oh, it was like so different. I was in the suburbs, so there was not coffee shop habits. Like I would not hang out on a terrace with my friends. Like it was not really a thing. We would hang out at each other's house.
Yes.
But when I started to like go to college and have my own apartment, most of my friends had their own apartments too. We would go for drinks after school every day. Also, you'll feel really free. You don't have your parents. I don't know, I really have like feeling of freedom, like being able to do whatever I want, having so many options to go out, to drink, to go to the museum, to party. I really have a great memory of my student years.
Yeah, me too. And for me, the biggest shock in university was that nobody cares about you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
At school, you're like, oh, if you don't have homework, somebody will know it. But at university, like, nobody cares if you're on your phone, if you can just stand up and leave, you can come by later and sit and drink coffee and be on your phone and stuff like that. Like, nobody really cares about anything. So for me, it was quite difficult to adjust. My first semester was a mess.
Yeah, I was also very scared before going to college that nobody will be behind me to push me.
Yeah.
And actually, it was also part of the whole thing. And you just have to push yourself, like, on your own.
Yeah. After my failures in the first semester, then I really tried to improve. That is a thing that you have to do by yourself. At some point, you must not have anybody to push you. That's a great age and time to start doing that.
Yeah, I did not succeed in my first year after high school. And I think now, watching back, that I would have failed any years, like whatever I would have studied. I was so not ready to just work, even though I was not in college, and it was like a much smaller structure where you are more surrounded by teachers and all the structure. I was still not, I think I would have failed anything right after high school. So I did fail my thing, and then I moved to this bachelor. It was cultural mediation, and it was really, really amazing. Like, so many topics were covered: sociology, history of art, public studies, English, mythology, all of it. It was great. What did you study?
I studied international relations, and disclaimer, before I became a student, I had no idea about anything related to university. Really had no idea. I didn't know what credits are. I didn't know you had to write your bachelor's research to finish university and stuff like that. I really had no idea, and I didn't really have anybody around me who was already a student that could like tell me about that. And my family, they graduated years ago, so everything was changed. Even when I had to choose my future profession, I didn't know anything. I really regret not sitting down with somebody and talking about it.
But they don't inform you in high school?
No, I just had one teacher who was like, oh, you're great with languages, so you should go and study international relations.
Wow.
Yeah, and at the time, our university's faculty of IR, it was the most popular. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'm going to try. And I passed. That's how I chose my future profession.
Wow, that's so random.
Yeah. That is like one of my biggest regrets. I don't regret studying there because I really learned so much that I would have never learned by myself. And all of my friends are from that faculty. I don't regret it, but I regret the part when maybe I could have chosen something that I really like, because the biggest part of my first semester failures was that I really had no idea what professors were talking about. And all my coursemates, they have been doing IR related and political stuff their last 2 years of high school. I was really so confused. It was difficult. I really hated university that first semester. But then when I started to get well with people, then they were my motivation to go, because I was really lazy to go. I guess my friendship lifted me up. Oh, I'm gonna see a friend, we have this subject together. So it was really my motivation. But in the end, I really learned a lot. And you can go to a bunch of different spheres with that diploma. So I guess it's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like one of the most versatile type of study you can do.
Yeah, it is.
And you said you studied for 4 years?
Yeah.
So the bachelor is 4 years?
Yeah, every bachelor is 4 years.
Okay, bachelor in France is 3 years. But how many years is a master?
2.
Actually, if you do the full master, you'll be a student for 6 years. Yeah, that's 1 year longer.
Yeah, it's the same in every university.
And was it expensive?
I was in the public university, and if you don't get any scholarship, it's 550 euros the whole year. Cheap.
Yeah.
If you go to the private university, then the prices are really different. But if you get the scholarship, you can still pay the part of it and then pay the other parts yourself. But because I was in the public university and I had full scholarship, I did not really have to pay anything. How is it in France?
Well, I went to public university for college. I did not have any scholarship because it's decided in function of your parents' money. It's anyway very cheap, 400 euros. If you really can't afford that, you can have scholarships, but public school is like really cheap. Like for French standard, 400 euros is like really not that much.
Yeah, so it's kind of public studies in France is free, you can say.
Yeah. We are kind of famous for that, and by free we mean 400 euros. I had friends that had scholarships, so they would literally don't pay anything. But it becomes expensive when you have to pay for the whole apartment situation. Like if your kid is studying in another city, then studies become quite expensive, especially in Paris. Smallest flat is more than 400 euros per month, so 1 month is like more expensive than the whole year. And then I did my master's degree in a private school. It was a bit less than 8,000 euros per year. It's the average price for private school. It's between 6,000 and maximum 12,000, I would say. But if you find a company that will take you as an apprentice, the company covers everything of the school fee.
That's amazing.
But it's hard to find it. I mean, it depends on what field you are. I was in communication. It was a real struggle. The good thing is that you can spend very few money for your bachelor and then go for a more professional private school that would give you more opportunity to do internships, because on the public university, it's kind of hard to get internships. It's just not made for that. It's very just the theory all the time. I did that, and honestly, I did not really like experience in private school. I just did not feel like the service provided was much better than in my public college, where we were like literally 17,000 students.
So you mentioned internships.
Yeah.
So how is it in France? Are most of the internships paid? How is it?
Yeah, we are really pushed to do the more internship we can when we are students, because it's quite hard to find a job when you are just graduated. Like, it's been a major topic for 20 years. The solution was to make students have more and more professional experience before they graduated and not just arrive on the work market completely virgin of any experience. We can do internship from the very beginning of, in my experience, I did my first internship when I was 18, really at the end of my first year, even though I did not even graduate for my first year, it's the one I failed. But I went there often enough for them to give me the internship convention. And it is paid if you do longer than 2 months and 1 day full time. When you're younger, like when I was 18, I did an internship that was 2 months long, but I was in a good company, so they gave me money even though I was not checking hours box, but they still gave me money, which is 560 euros per month, something like that, which is basically it's the third of the minimum wage.
Okay.
That's how it works. So it's around 3 euros per hour. You don't have taxes. They don't pay more money than what they give you. So you're not also saving for your retirement when you're intern. The more you go into your studies, the longer you do your internships. So basically, you get paid. And the longer is 6 months full time. If they want to keep you for more, they have to hire you for real. They have to.
That's interesting because in Georgia, the government is not really encouraging any private or public companies to hire interns. There are few programs starting from 1 month up to 6 months. 90% of them are not paid, and it's full time. You're a student, you have to study, do internship, and also somehow eat or pay rent. For my example, my university had this 1 month of, it was not even called internship, it was called practice in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because that's our sphere. I was lucky enough to go to the press department. I actually had stuff to do there, and I enjoyed going there because press something is always happening. But my other friends who went regular departments, they had nothing to do. And in the same ministry, you can do an official internship, which is from 3 to 6 months, full time, and it's not paid.
Oh.
And when I was doing my practice, there was this guy who was there as an intern for 2 years.
Oh my God.
Unpaid, but he really just wanted to be there. So the fact that people were allowing that.
I'm shook. As a French people, it makes me want to riot. We really know that you should not work for free. It's just not a thing.
Yeah, you can at least cover travel or lunch expenses.
Oh my God, of course. For the short internships, even if it's less than 2 months and they don't have to pay you, they automatically pay half of your transport all the time. Whatever your contract is, the company will pay half. And if they have this system of giving you food tickets, you can also have them even as an intern. And even if you're here just for maybe 1 week, you will have 1 week of food tickets it's money that you can only spend on food, and the amount depends on the company. It's usually between 6 and 12 euros a day. And now they switched to the card. Actually have on the card up to 19 euros because it's really funny. They decided it would be 19 euros because they count the morning coffee, the morning croissant.
Oh, amazing. That's amazing.
Cute.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money. People don't spend 20 euros per day for food. Food and transportation is usually covered. So I graduated and I remember there was this sociology class. The teacher was terrible. He was doing this terrible trick of making you buy his own book so he gets more money. I hate when they do that. It was super boring and 30 euros. I don't think I even bought it. And I did not attend. And I still graduated. I mean, I should not be proud of that.
Yeah. Well, talking about terrible professors, I had a bunch. There were two special ones. In my third year of studies, I don't know how it happened, but I tripped on my own leg in my own room and fell on my own foot and broke my foot. So I couldn't walk for 3 weeks, and it was in December, so it was like the time to do all the final papers, presentations, and final exams. So I was really nervous. I was calling all the professors, asking them how I can manage. And there was this one professor that I called. We had a presentation, and I told her that my leg was broken. I had all the documents proving that I had my leg broken, and she just told me like, I'm sorry, but I don't believe that your leg is broken. So she was like, oh, I can't help you with anything. You have to do presentation like in person. And the university building, it's quite old, so it's not made for people.
Yeah, disabled friendly.
Yeah, we had elevator and our classroom was on the third floor, but still you had to walk so much to get to the elevator and then from that elevator to the classroom. And I literally went there with like special walking sticks. Oh my god, yeah, it was terrible. I was so exhausted because I was like walking on one leg and jumping. When I entered the classroom and the professor saw me, she was like, oh, your leg really is broken. And I was like, you don't say.
Oh yeah.
And then she was like, oh, if I knew that your condition was so bad, I would not have asked you to come.
Oh my god, what do you need?
Yeah, what else do you need? She need like the picture of my purple leg or...
Do you want me to send my toe?
Yeah.
Well, I also had funny teachers, especially for my bachelor. I had this archaeologist lady that was a teacher because there is no job in archaeology anyway, quote unquote. And she was like, please, if you're cheating, do it right, because if I caught you, I will have to file a bunch of paper because you can't put a 0 without any paper, so please do it smartly. She would say that. Oh, she was really funny. I need to find new stories about her. And I also had this crazily strict history teacher, but he was the smartest person I've ever met. I was obsessed with him, but if you arrive 30 seconds later, you can't get in and stuff like that.
We had a bunch of communists.
What? Mine was Marxist, not communist.
No, not officially communist. We call like the method of teaching. Some methods we call them like communist because they are like super strict, not modern, teaching from books from 20 years ago, and you can't teach international relations with a book that was published by you 20 years ago. So,
oh my god.
Yeah, that's like the phrase we use, like communist methods. They were not communist, of course. Thanks God. Well, we had one subject. It was actually called like the politics of USSR. Our professor was 90. He was super
What?
old. Yeah. He like sometimes we thought that he would die right there.
Yeah.
Super enthusiastic about the stories from his life in USSR. He was super racist, homophobic, sexist, everything you can imagine.
Oh, I had a super feminist teacher of sociology, but for one semester. Oh, she was amazing. Like, there was this dude, the only one in our class, because we were in culture, so I can prove I was there. It was like mostly girls, like 90% girls. And there was this one guy, and he was like so weird. He was so not fitting at least in our bachelor. Like, he was clearly traditional, like probably Catholics, but you don't meet a lot of Catholic people in the art public college of Paris. Like, I think he even got married during the bachelor, like, and he was an organ player, musician, and
organist.
He was an organ donor. No, he was an organist, and he was really weird, and he went to private school his whole life. So yeah, actually, I think this degree was like his first time in the public, like with the peasant, you know. And he was like saying, yeah, but you know, girls, like sometimes. And that teacher, she was like, you're the only man in the room, so now you will shut up and let the girl talk. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, mic drop.
We had a bunch of amazing professors too. It was a pleasure just sitting and listening to them. We also had that kind of pleasure. Most of our professors were actually people who really work in that sphere, who are working in EU, UN, in all the ministries and parliament and everything. So you could really get like first-hand information. That was also the good part of my degree. So we really got some great experience that they shared with us.
Yeah, of course. But I had more good teacher than bad teacher in college. The public college was an amazing experience, and they don't push you, but the content so good. Like we had to go to the Louvre to work before some exam in art history, like in the Italian gallery. And that's when you start to really enjoy museums. Like you go there with all your notes and you see actually on the art piece what they are talking about. I mean, for that, studying in Paris is like really incredible. Like you could see like the perspective. Yeah. You have the actual material right there.
The salary in public universities in Georgia is not high at all.
Minimum wage?
More than minimum wage, yeah, depends on the hours. Professors who I talked about who were great, they had these great jobs just because they wanted to share their experience and teach the future of their country something that they learned or did.
Yeah, I was not that convinced by teachers I had in my private master's degree. They are paid a shit ton of money to just give like 1 hour of class. Everybody knows if class to in a private school worth it. I don't remember specific great content, but I think my experience was probably worse than the average for private schools in France. But it is kind of a topic. Like if you went to like cultural studies in public school, you went to these old buildings, you did not pay a lot of money, but you had like super interesting classes. They don't check if you're here or not. You just have to be there for the exam. And it's a complete different vibe as going to some private business school where you have everything covered. You party only with people of your school and kind of like the frat thing, you know? Not as bad. The business school people and the public college people are really clashing.
In terms of paying for stuff, I know some people who went to private universities, and besides the studying fee, also they had to pay if they missed the class for like more than 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, I know, it's a thing.
They had to pay when they failed. If they wanted to retake the subject or like retake the final exam, they also had to pay money for that. And it was like just ongoing, like...
Yeah, is it a school or is it a low-cost flight company?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We usually had like welcome parties, Christmas parties and stuff like that. Maximum 10 euros and even less for some of them. But for the private universities, they really went over the top. They had like these themes, Gatsby, Titanic, I don't know.
Yeah.
It costed really a lot. It's like the big difference between private and public universities. So, why did you choose the cultural mediation? It sounds interesting.
It was actually quite random. I knew that I failed my first year of... Actually, the name of the diploma was Multimedia and Internet. And I failed it. So I had to go back to the website where every high schooler registers to apply for every school that are not private, because the private schools have their own path. I had to go back because I would like start from zero again, since I did not even pass the first year. It's not like I had any kind of credit. So I went there and I applied to a bunch of stuff, and I was really, really lost at that point. I really did not know what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to study for very long. I was not really into all of that. I had a great internship, which made me think that maybe I would like to work actually more than study. But I applied to a bunch of stuff. Honestly, I don't even remember. And I got in. I asked to my coworker, and I was really scared if I could succeed in this completely, you're not pushed. They don't tell you what to do and when to study. And I was really not confident about my own mental strength towards work on my own, like studying on my own. My coworker told me, yeah, I did it. Like, you're smart enough to... Actually, it's not about being smart. Being able to push yourself, like... 10 days before the exam, and I mean, it was doable. So I said yes, and that's how I arrived. But it was completely random. But I did not regret. Like, it was really my best years as a student.
Yeah, can't agree more. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast again. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and all our social medias that will be in the description.
Down below. Okay, thank you, and we hope to see you again for our next episode with a mystery topic, because we did not decide yet.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.